Hi guys, welcome back. So here in this session, I'll explain project phase. Okay. So generally project phase means here I have to explain implementation guys in my entire tutorial because implementation means 100% each and every steps will be there in implementations. And this is how generally if you have knowledge of implementation, it means you guys will be able to survive in rollout. You guys will be able to survive in upgradations. You guys will be able to survive in support. Because implementations means if you know 100%, then no need to worry, right? In no matter whichever kind of projects are there, you will be able to sustain and survive. And that's the reason everywhere in the market people are seeking for the candidate who is having knowledge of implementation project. Okay, now so project phase means if we talk about this implementation project, it is going to be divided into certain phases. Okay. Now look at here guys, I have written here like ASAP methodology. It is divided into 5 phases. So here I have written like ASAP versus Activate methodology. So what is the difference between ASAP and Activate? See, there are two different version of SAP is there. One is called ECC. Second one is called S4 HANA, right? S4 HANA. ECC is the old version. S4 HANA is the new version. So generally what is happening guys, if the same, let's suppose if the implementation is happening on ECC version, this is called ASAP methodology. Whereas the same implementation is happening on S4 HANA, right? Then what is happening? We have to follow on ECC version, which methodology we have to follow? We have to follow ASAP methodology. On S4 HANA, we have to follow Activate methodology. So I hope you guys are able to understand. When we implement SAP on ECC version, then we have to follow ASAP methodology. And when we have to implement this SAP on S4 HANA version, then we have to follow Activate methodology. Now, okay, so ECC become old version. S4 HANA is the new version. So nowadays, whichever implementations are happening here in the market, all the implementations are happening on S4 HANA itself. But still, I'll explain ASAP and Activate both. Okay, and quite similarity is there. Okay, so let me explain one by one. So here now, so look at here. Now let's suppose if the Tata Motor is supposed to be implemented here into what do you say, SAP is supposed to be implemented in Tata Motor. Okay, so generally what happened? First of all, Tata Motor will invite quotations from different organizations, maybe IBM, Accenture, Wipro, Infosys, right? TCS. So every companies are going to send the quotations. How much they will be charging for this SAP implementations? Everybody has quoted their charges, their terms and conditions, and based on that, what happened? Tata Motor decided that IBM quotation is going to be a best deal for them. In the sense, whatever quoted by IBM is a best offer for them. So they decided to give this implementations assignment to IBM. Okay, in the sense implementation project to IBM. So what will happen guys? IBM will appoint a project manager for this Tata Motor implementation project. Okay, a project manager is appointed for this SAP implementation in Tata Motor. But what about the project manager guys? Can project manager implement this entire SAP alone? No. Okay, so of course multiple activities are there that I'll explain. So the first thing is when we have to implement this SAP here in Tata Motor, let's suppose if the implementation is happening on ECC version. Okay, ECC version means earlier it was happening, now it is on S4 HANA. So it's okay. So generally what happened? So when implementation is happening on ECC, then SAP says that entire implementation activity you have to segregate, you have to divide in this 5 phases. Okay, in the sense in every phase certain activity we have to perform. So phase wise, if we are going to proceed, then what will happen guys? Within the specified time limits, say for example Tata Motor has given a deadline of 8 months, saying that you must have to complete the entire implementation in 8 months itself. So this is the deadline given by Tata Motor. So we have divided the entire implementation activity in certain phases. Okay, 5 phases, and for every phase certain deadline is specified. First phase must be completed in 1 month, second phase must be completed in 2 months, third phase must be completed in 3 or 4 months, like that. So every phase, if certain time limits are like allocated by project manager, then of course we are going to meet our target, right? Within 8 months we can perform this entire implementations will be completed. So generally SAP says that you have to follow these 5 phases. So there, it cannot be 4, it cannot be 6. 5 phases are the standard phases given by SAP. We cannot change or we cannot increase or decrease the phases. Okay. So now, so what is happening in first phase, second phase, third phase, that I'll explain one by one, and even activate methodology, that is the new one given by SAP. What is happening in that? That also I'll explain, guys, one by one. Okay, quite similarities are there, almost like ASAP equals to activate. Slight differences are there that I'll explain. Okay, so try to understand this one by one. Now, so the first phase, generally what happened, guys, the first phase, what are the activities are happening? So look at here, during this phase, the team goes through initial planning and preparations for this SAP project. Generally what happened in the first phase, so as I said, like project manager is appointed, IBM has appointed a project manager, and this Tata Motor implementation project is handed over to that project manager. Now what happened, guys? The success and failure of the entire project, the credit goes to project manager itself. Okay, because they are like at top level, isn't it? So that's the reason. When anything is happening, let's suppose if any incident happen in our country, immediately people demand the resignations from whoever the responsible ministers are there. Why? Because he is there at top level. So he is having more responsibility. Likewise here, the project manager. Project manager is having all the responsibility. Success and failure, credit goes to project manager itself. If success is there, appreciation goes to project manager first, right? And if failure is there, then depreciation also goes to project manager initially, right? Anyway, so generally what happened here? So first phase, what is happening, guys? The first activity in first phase, the first thing is team size and team member. In the sense, project manager, as I said, project manager cannot implement this SAP alone. Okay. So first of all, project manager has to decide that how many members are needed to implement this entire SAP into Tata Motor. Right? Say for example, for 30 members are required or 40 members are required. Okay, let's suppose 30 members are required. Okay. 30 members are required initially. Okay, when I say 30 member, it doesn't mean that the number of members cannot be increased or decreased. Of course, based on the requirement, we can increase. Based on the requirement, we can decrease also the number. Okay. So team size means 30 members are needed to implement this entire SAP. Now the question is, what about those 30 people? Right? What about those 30 people? So that 30 people must be there. So generally what happened, the project manager will find out those people. Generally what happened, guys, I'll tell you. Say for example, IBM itself, take example of IBM itself. IBM is having multiple projects, out of which there are 5 projects. Try to understand this, guys. See, no one is explaining these all things. Simply people focus on the configurations. They'll explain the steps. No matter whether you understood or not, simply they'll proceed further. Right? So try to understand these all things. This is how you guys are going to become SAP consultant. So you must be having time and patience both if you have to learn SAP, right? So because it takes time. Nothing is happening in shortcut. Okay, so here IBM. Let's suppose IBM is there. So IBM is having 100 of projects, more than 100 projects are there. So for every project, there will be a contract between IBM and the client. Okay. So now 5 projects are there. For that, the contract got over. Let's suppose these all 5 are support projects. Okay. And there was a contract of, let's suppose, 2 years or 4 years. So that contract got over. And now what is happening, guys? This 5 project went to different organizations, like one went to Infosys, another went to Wipro, TCS, like that. So what happened? Let's suppose total 200 people or 100 people involved, right, in these 5 projects, or 200 people, let's suppose, was there. the part of this project. So entire 200 people. Now generally what happen, guys? They become jobless. Jobless in the sense workless, we can say, right? Jobless in the sense like IBM will not say that now you have to quit the organizations. It's the responsibility of IBM to get some different project and deploy these people. So generally what happen in organizations, there'll be a segment called free pool. What is the meaning of free pool? See, generally what happen if you are not having any project, it means you don't have any activity to perform. So in that case, let's suppose these 200 people were there, immediately their profile is transferred to this free pool segment. It means these 200 people are not having any work to perform because their project went to different organizations. But I'll tell you guys, generally what happened for big organizations. So IBM, let's suppose, lost 5 projects. At the same time, they'll be having multiple projects in pipeline because they'll be having like here in every organization, sales and marketing team is there. And what is the major role of these people? To find out new projects, right? To bring new projects from market, right? Okay. So these 200 people profile came to free pool. So out of 200 people, like some candidates are from FI, some candidates are from CO, SD, MMPP, different consultants are there. So the project manager who is responsible for this Tata Motor implementation project, right? So first of all, okay, Tata Motor implementation project. So first of all, the project manager will check this free pool because this Tata Motor means how many consultants are needed? Let's suppose 30. So 30 members are needed, guys. So project manager will check here free pool and try to find out the candidates from free pool itself. Okay. So out of 200, let's suppose out of 30, let's suppose he got 28 members from free pool itself who is ready to work for this project. See, if somebody's profile is there in free pool, it doesn't mean that if we are giving an opportunity for Tata Motor implementations, then they must have to accept. No, it's there. What do you say? This one wishes. Even if they want to reject because somebody is having like location related restrictions and constraints, so in that case, they can turn down the offer, isn't it? So 28 people he found from this free pool. 28 people are ready to work for this Tata Motor implementations. Remaining 2 people can be hired from outside, right? So this is how he can arrange the 30 members. So team size decided, team members already fixed that these are the 30 people who will be the part of this implementation team. Project planning. Planning means what, guys? Project planning means, of course, project manager has to plan lots of things. First of all, like deadline is given by client. So for every phase, how much time project manager has to spend, that will be planned by project manager itself, right? Apart from this, multiple other plannings also will be there in the sense like, let's suppose if any during implementations we have to prepare multiple documents, okay, multiple documents we have to prepare. So for these documents, what should be the nomenclatures, how we have to start, like how can we write the name of the documents, right? For that also I'll tell you guys, there will be certain, first of all the document name, right? Or is like, first of all we have to specify the client name, then module name, then document name, like that, underscore like that they are going to, okay? So multiple things are will be planned here by project manager. So project planning in the sense like, of course, planning about these all things, durations and everything supposed to be fixed for every phases, okay? And once the every plannings are done by project manager, then kickoff meeting will be taking place. Kickoff meeting is what? Kickoff meeting is, if you guys are able to remember the football matches, generally what happened over there, somebody won the toss, and then the person who has won the toss is going to hit the ball, right? Kick off the ball and the match begins. Same thing happened here also. Kickoff meeting means generally it is a kind of internal meeting because here we are having 30 consultants coming from different locations. Now I am, let's suppose, a finance consultant, I don't know who is the SD consultant. I don't know who is the MM consultant. I don't know who is the PP consultant. Who is the ABAP consultant, right? Because everybody are coming from different locations. So generally what happened, this kickoff meeting, internal meeting will be conducted where everybody will introduce themselves with their experience, right? And apart from this, some things can be informally, in the sense like if somebody is having some certain hobby or something, that is going to be, that is a different thing. But yes, the major motive of this kickoff meeting is that everybody will provide their introduction. So this is how I will come to know, okay, this guy is MM consultant, that guy is SD consultant, right? So everybody will introduce themselves. And apart from this, the project manager. So project manager will give the presentation. Presentation means whatever the plannings has been done, right? So project manager, most likely what happen, a PPT will be prepared. Okay, that we have divided the entire project in 5 phases. So this much is the deadline for first phase. This much is the deadline for second phase. This is the deadline for third phase. If anybody has to prepare the document, then this is what the nomenclature of the documents, right? If apart from this, other plannings will be like, let's suppose team meetings are there. So how frequently the team meetings will be conducted, isn't it? What about the reporting matrix, in the sense like how the reportings are taking place? How frequently you guys have to update the progress of your implementations to the project manager? Like every day you have to update the progress, or every alternative day you have to update the progress, or every weekend, in the sense every Friday you have to update the. So these all things will be already, this is already planned by project manager. And again, a PPT will be prepared by project manager, that will be explained by PM itself, that these are the things. Okay. So during kickoff meeting itself, this entire discussions will happen, and after that, the first phase is completed. Okay. So generally, what happened, guys? Kickoff meeting means internal meeting. Sometime what happened? Even we can invite certain employee from Tata Motor also. That's fine. There is no problem. But generally, what happened? It is internal meeting where the consultants will be sitting together. Everybody will introduce. Project manager also will explain all these things. Okay. So this is what is happening in project preparations phase, in the sense first phase, right? So these are the activity which is happening in first phase. Now let's have a look on the second phase. So once the kickoff meeting is completed, it means the first phase is over, and then we have moved out to the second phase, that is called business blueprint phase. Now I'll tell you guys, in business blueprint phase what is happening. Till now, in first phase what happened, we had the interaction internally itself within the team member. But what about the so what's the need of this 30 member? These all people have been gathered, for what? To implement this SAP into Tata Motor. So for implementations, first of all, we need to understand the business process of Tata Motor. And for that, we need to interact the employee of Tata Motor. Right? So look at here. I have written, in this phase, consultant will have a discussion with their respective department member, that is called core team member, regarding the business process. See, as I said, if we have to implement this SAP into Tata Motor, so first of all, we need to understand the business process of Tata Motor, right? Because let's suppose if you have to do the configurations. So configuration doesn't mean that blindly you started doing configurations. First of all, we have to understand now how many activities are being done by Tata Motor Finance team, right? So based on that, we can decide, okay, we have to configure this, that, whatever it is. So first of all, we need to understand their business process, and for that, we need to discuss. So if you have to discuss, so the question is, with whom Tata Motor Finance department is having a team of 200 people. Are we going to discuss with all 200 people one by one? No, it is not like that. Or else it is impossible, right? To complete the entire project within 8 months or 7 months. Okay, so we are not going to discuss with every member of this finance team. Generally, what happened? Tata Motor will appoint a representative, someone who will represent the entire finance team. See, let's suppose there are a huge a crowd of people making certain strike. Okay. So what will happen? It means they are having some demand. So now let's suppose from administration side, if somebody has to discuss, right, and if somebody has to negotiate based on the demand which is raised by those people, if they are trying to negotiate, will they discuss with the entire crowd? It is impossible. So the crowd is going to appoint a leader, and that leader is the voice of the crowd, right? That leader will negotiate on behalf of crowd. Same thing is happening here. A group of 200 people are there. It is not possible to discuss with everybody. So simply one representative will be appointed by Tata Motors saying that this guy will represent the finance department. So in that case, generally, if we have to discuss something, we are going to discuss with that guy only. Okay. If we need any informations, then we need to ask from that guy only. Who is that guy? That guy is going to represent the finance team. So that guy is called core team member, CTM. Okay. Core team member is the representative of particular department. So you guys, as a finance consultant, you have to discuss with the core team member of finance team. Whereas if somebody is SD consultant, that guy will discuss with the core team member of sales team. In the same way, HR consultant will discuss with the HR core team member, HR team core team member. Right? MM consultant will discuss with the material, what to say, this one, and the purchase department core team member. Right? So every consultant will discuss with their respective core team member. You guys are a finance consultant, so you have to discuss with finance core team member. So in blueprint, what is happening, guys, in this phase? Consultant will have a discussion with their respective department member, right? That department member is called core team member regarding the business process. Okay. Will record the entire requirement in a document which is called blueprint. Now let's suppose discussions are happening. Your core team member, your CTM said that finance and account team are, performing 20 different kind of activity. So now what we have to do, guys? In that case, we have to configure those activity here into SAP so that whatever 20 activities or 20, in the sense, different kind of activities are being performed by finance team, those activities they'll perform here into SAP after implementations. So we have to configure the system in such a way, in that way. But the problem is, let's suppose you had a discussion with the core team member, and core team member said that these are the 20 activity which is being performed by finance department. And based on that, you started doing configurations, and later on, core team member is coming back saying that no, we didn't discuss 20 actually. I said you 25. I think you're not able to remember. Then what will happen, guys? They have added additional 5 activity. That's the reason whatever discussion happen, it will be documented. We have to prepare a document and we have to specify, look at here, this is what the discussion happened. We agreed on these 20 activity. You said that these are the 20 activities, being performed by finance department. So we have to prepare a document, okay, and that document is called blueprint document. So in blueprint document, generally all the deliverable and non-deliverables are going to be specified here in blueprint document. Okay. So in deliverables and non-deliverables means, let's suppose, so Tata Motor is saying like, okay, account payable related, in the sense vendor invoice, vendor payment, vendor credit memo. These are the transactions. Apart from this, customer invoice, customer credit memo, customer payment, right? These are the transactions which is being taken care of by finance team. Then we have cash related transaction posting are, being performed by finance team. Tax related multiple transactions are taking place, isn't it? Asset related multiple transactions are taking place. So different activities, different transactions are taking place here that will be posted by finance team, and based on that, what is happening? So they explain all this. So these are the standard activity, guys. These are the standard activity. So we have to deliver this. But let's suppose they said an activity which is not standard, right? They have a quite different kind of requirement, isn't it? See, earlier when I was like doing implementations, I'm talking about like it was of course on ECC itself. Okay, so almost like 9 years back. Okay, 9 years back. So when we were doing this implementations, guys, okay, so client said that okay, this entire account payable, account receivable, general ledger, asset accounting, these all things we have to configure. We discussed all these things. And then at last they said that finance team generally what is happening. So here we are having multiple like whatever the client was there. So that client was having tie up with multiple MBA colleges. Okay. And from those MBA colleges, people used to come to do certain kind of internship here in that organization. And after completion of those internship, these people they used to generate the certificates for the candidate with the ERP itself, right? So when they said like finance team is doing even this one also, if somebody is coming to, if somebody is coming for internship, finance team will, they'll observe this entire activity for 3 months, and after that, what happened? We have to generate a certificates, and that will be handed over to the student. So even this printing is also possible with the help of the current ERP. I said that is possible in the current ERP. It is not possible into SAP. Because that is called non-deliverable. That is not the standard activity, guys, isn't it? That is a, a kind of different kind of requirement was there. So if they need, we have to go for customizations, right? And if we have to go for customizations, it will be, it is going to cost them extra. Okay. So again, so deliverables and non-deliverables, whatever the deliverables and non-deliverables are there, so these all things will be recorded in a document, and that document is called blueprint document. Okay. So what will happen, guys? Blueprint document means we have to, once the document is prepared, then that document will be shared to the core team member, right? And core team member will go through that document. Once the core team member is approved that yes, this is what the discussion happened and we are agreed on these activity, on these business processes and all, then what happened? We have to take the print out of that document, right? And we have to go for sign off. Everybody will put their signature, and once the signature is given, once it is done, then what happened, guys? We have freezed the requirement. It means now, today onwards, no more new requirements we are going to accept from client side. But again, the question is it happening in real time? Once you become a consultant, you guys will come to know. Right? There is a proverb called rules are made to bridge. Isn't it? So lots of things are happening in real time, guys. But yes, we will not say those things during interview. In interview, whatever the procedure is there, that we have to explain. But in reality, what is happening, guys? Once you become the part of project, you don't like, you won't realize when the first phase came, when second phase came, when third phase came. Everything's are going to be mixed together. Okay. But yes, this is what is happening in blueprint phase. Once the blueprint phase is completed, then what happened, guys? Then we have to so we moved out for third phase, that is called realization phase. Now, what is this realization phase? Okay. So look at here, guys. In realization phase, generally two activities are taking place. One is called configurations and second one is called testing. Okay. So generally in blueprint phase, what is happening? We have discussed and we have recorded the process. Those processes we have to map, we have to configure here into SAP. Right? So blueprint means a map we have prepared. Let's suppose a building supposed to be constructed. So before that, a blueprint is ready. Based on the blueprint itself, the construction work begin, right? Same thing happened here into SAP also. Okay. So in realization phase, what in blueprint phase, we have prepared the blueprint. Based on that blueprint, now we have to start doing configurations. We have to configure those activity here into SAP so that Tata Motor employee will able to perform those activity here into SAP. So we have to do the configurations. Lots of configurations we have to do. Several sessions will be there on configurations, guys. You guys are going to be expert of that. Okay, mark my word. Don't need to worry. Because the explanations are going to be quite unique. A very simple explanations will be there. Okay. So now I explain in too much details so that you guys will be having perfect understanding. And of course, it takes time, right? So that's the things. Anyway, so now if you talk about here the configurations, of course, multiple configurations will be there, and as I said, like that will be explained practically. So we have to do the configurations. Okay, then testing. So generally, what happened? Say for example, we have to client is saying that okay, so we have to configure lots of activity. Like in account payable, there is a topic called APP, Automatic Payment Program. With the help of APP, what happened, guys? We can post the payment of multiple vendor at a time within few seconds. This is unique functionality. All the cash related transactions will be posted through cash journal. This is one activity given by SAP. This is the one functionality given by SAP, right? So apart from this, if like from account receivable side, let's suppose there are multiple customer. Most of the customers are paying on time, but still there are certain customer who is not able to make the payment on time. So in that case, we have to send reminder to those customer. Now the question is, 10,000 customers are there or 5,000 customers are there, out of which let's suppose 5 or 10%, 5 or 10 customers are there, or maybe 1% customers are there who is not making payment on time. So how to find out those customers? So SAP has given one program called Dunning program. If we run this Dunning program, then SAP will find out those customers automatically who is failed to make payment on time. Those line items also, right? So these are the different. Okay. So we have to configure these all things. APP, we have to configure here into SAP, right? Then cash journal, of course, we have to configure. Dunning, we have to configure. So guys, once we perform the configurations, right? Once we can perform the configurations, then what will happen? How you guys will come to know that whatever configurations we have done for automatic payment program is perfect, is working perfectly. So for that, we have to perform testing. Okay. So APP, first of all, we have to configure and then we have to test it. Okay. How to do the configurations, how to do the testing. No need to worry. If you're a beginner, freshers, let's suppose you don't have any idea about SAP. So no need to worry, guys. This is going to be best tutorial for you. I'll explain in details. Okay. So configurations, let's suppose this topic we have to configure, and after configurations, whether it is working fine or not, our configurations are like we have done the configuration perfectly or not. So for that, we have to test it, right? Cache journal configuration is done. Again, we have to test it so that we can check whether it is working fine or not. Dunning, that also we have to test it. Okay. So now I'll tell you guys here. I've explained testing me. In testing, I have explained UT and IT. What is this UT and what is this IT? See, I'll tell you generally. So look at here. If you talk about testing for APP, cache journal, dunning, validations, substitutions, multiple other topics are there. So look at here. Unit by unit, I have done the configuration. First of all, I have done the configuration, let's suppose for APP or cache journal or dunning. So first of all, I have done for dunning configurations and then I have tested. Then I moved for cache journal. I did the configuration, I tested. Then I moved for dunning. I did the configuration, I tested. So generally what is happening, guys, unit by unit configurations and unit by unit testing is also happening. Once I have configured APP and I tested, then I can say that now we have done with the APP. Configuration is completed, testing is also completed, so APP is ready. Then we have to move for cache journal. Configuration is done, testing is done. Then it means the cache journal configuration is done successfully. So unit by unit configurations and unit by unit testing, is done, and that's the reason this testing is called unit test. Unit test means one by one, process wise, process by process, activity by activity, we are doing the configuration and testing. So this kind of testing is called unit test. Now we have another one called integration test, IT. See, there is a process called P2P process. What is this P2P process, guys? P2P process stands for procure to pay. Some of you might be knowing. Okay, procure to pay. So in P2P, generally, what we have to do? In P2P, we are having multiple activity. P2P means, see, generally what happened? P2P means what? Procure to pay. So generally, as an individual, if we have to purchase something, simply you guys will visit the shop, right? You can, like, let's suppose you as an individual, you have to purchase a laptop. So what will happen, guys? You will visit some nearby shop, or you may visit 3 4 shop, right? You can check the prices, whichever you found like best deal, you guys can go with that. But generally, if you talk about the business to business purchase, if Tata Motor has to procure something, Tata Motor will, first of all, Tata Motor will raise a purchase order. Before PO also certain steps are there, but that I'll explain in detail when I explain a topic called FIMM integrations. Right now in a shortcut I'm explaining. So in P2P generally, if Tata Motor has to purchase something, the same laptop, let's suppose Tata Motor is trying to purchase for their employee 500 laptop or 1000 laptop. Tata Motor will directly place order with the company itself, they can place, right? That I need 1000 laptop or I need 5000 laptop for my employee. It's a bulk order, guys, isn't it? So in that case, now, so first of all, what is happening, guys? They will raise a purchase order. Okay, PO will be created. PO means PO consists of like which material is needed, how many quantities are needed, right? When we are expecting the delivery, and multiple other informations. So in P2P, procure to pay, in this process, if Tata Motor has to purchase something, first of all, Tata Motor will create a purchase order that will be sent to the vendor. Based on the vendor, based on the PO, vendor will send the goods. Once the purchase order is received by vendor, so vendor got the order from Tata Motor that I need this much, unit of material. So now vendor will deliver the goods. So that will be posted here into SAP system in the form of goods receipt. Then once the goods receipt is done, once the delivery is taken place, then vendor will send the invoice. And that also will be posted here into SAP system in the form of invoice receipt. So vendor has delivered the goods, vendor has sent the invoice. What next? Now vendor is waiting for the payment. So it's our turn. We have to make the payment to the vendor. So guys, payment posting also supposed to be done here into SAP. Now, one process but 4 activity. Look at here P2P. One process, but in P2P how many activities are there? Total 4 activities are there. We have to create PO, we have to create GR, we have to create IR. In this sense, we have to post goods receipt, we have to post invoice receipt, then we have to post payment. Now, just assume that, okay, so if you have to create purchase order, can we create purchase order directly? No. First of all, you have to do certain configurations into SAP. Who will perform those configurations? MM consultant. Goods receipt. Okay. So this configurations, let's suppose MM consultant. So for these two activities, the configurations will be done by MM consultant. And for these two activities, the configurations will be done by FI consultant. So look at here, guys, there is association or nothing but integrations are there between these two modules. Because if we have to test automatic payment program, can you test it alone? No, guys, you can't test alone, right? Because first of all, PO is supposed to be created. With reference to PO, goods receipt will be posted. And with reference to same PO, invoice receipt also will be posted. And then finally payment will be posted. So generally what happened guys, we are having dependency on each other. Whereas in unit test, you're not having dependency on any other module, right? SD consultant, let's suppose, has done only 5% configuration. It's okay. That is not your headache, right? You'll be doing your configurations, they'll be doing their configurations, right? So in these configurations, we are not having dependency on any other module consultant, and we have done the configurations, we have tested. But here, generally in P2P, we are having dependency on other consultant. Here we are having dependency on MM consultant. Until unless MM consultant perform their configurations, we cannot proceed further, right? So MM consultant has to perform their configurations, their part, and then they will create. So in the sense, like let's suppose MM consultant has done their part, in the sense their configurations, and if FI consultant is still not done yet. In that case also there will be delay. MM consultant cannot do everything alone, right? So generally there is integrations between these two modules, FI and MM. There is involvement of two modules where in this P2P process, right? In P2P process we are having multiple activity. Likewise we are having another process called O2C. This is also example of another integrations, order to cash. On this one also I have to give a very deep explanations guys during classes. Okay. So generally what happened in this activity, in this process, we have dependency on other module, right? These two modules are integrated, associated with each other. Okay. So for this, PO related configurations will be done by MM consultant, GR related configurations will be done by MM consultant. After configurations, testing also supposed to be done guys, isn't it? So testing will be done. Okay. So this P2P testing is the example of integration test, right? Because here we are having dependency on other module, right? And these all activities are integrated with each other, right? So this is called integration test. Integration test means, right, there is a process where there is involvement of two different modules, right? You will be doing your part, other people will, MM consultant will do their part. Okay. So in realization phase, what is happening? We have to perform configurations and we have to perform testing. Once the testing is completed, UT and IT is already explained, unit test and integration test. And once again, practically everything will be going to be explained guys, so that you will be having perfect idea. I can understand still most of you, right, are not able to visualize whatever I am visualizing, because I am able to visualize because for last 15 years I am doing the same activity. I'm working as a consultant, I'm doing all the configurations, so I'm able to remember all the screens. But you guys are quite new, so you are not able to visualize the things which I am visualizing. But no need to worry, once you completed the entire lecture, once you completed the entire course, then you guys also will be having lots of improvement. Okay. And of course guys, practice is a continuous process activity, so you have to do the more and more practice, so that you guys will be no, you will be having like quite comfortable on this entire steps. Okay. So in realization phase, what we have done, configuration and testing. Now there is a question. So testing is done by you have done the configurations and you have tested and saying that everything is fine. Is it acceptable? Let's suppose you have prepared a dish and you yourself has tested and saying that it is fine, but you are preparing for someone. So if you are preparing for someone, that guy also must have to test, na? Once that guy has tested, and if that guy says that yes it is fine, then only you can say yes it is fine, or it is testy, right? So till now configuration is done by you people. You people in the sense, you guys just assume that you are a SAP consultant, and once you assume 100%, you guys are going to become consultant. No need to worry. So you have done the configurations, you have performed the testing and saying that yes, everything is fine. What about the client? Will they accept? No, they will not accept. They will also perform testing from their end. Okay. So in next session, I'll explain guys, in next session what is happening. So we are having like fourth phase. So in next session, I'll explain what is happening here in fourth phase, and we'll proceed further. Okay, so that's all in this session, guys. In next session, fourth page will be started in next session.